Hey, what's up everybody? This is my review of Transformers Prime Weaponizer class Bumblebee. And Bumblebee here is actually packaged in robot mode, so I'll be showing you robot mode first, articulation, size comparisons, and then a transformation into vehicle mode. So starting off with Bumblebee here for articulation. The articulation is basic. I mean, it's got several points of articulation, but it certainly is not going to be super articulated, I wouldn't say. So starting off with a look at the neck articulation. The head itself is on a ball joint, and then you have the shoulders here on a ratchet type of joint, and the arms can swivel out that far and inward, and you have a swivel here, a bend, and there really is not articulation at all really for the wrist, just due to the way that the arm here transforms. And then there is no waist articulation. You've got legs that can go forward, backwards, and out to the side. And you got a swivel there just above the knee and a bend at the knee. And that really is all the articulation for Bumblebee here. So let me go ahead and show you a comparison with some other figures. Now there has been a lot of talk about what scale this weaponizer class is. Most people are saying it's leader class. So with that being said, let's go ahead and compare him to Revenge of the Fallen leader class Optimus Prime here. And unfortunately I don't have leader class Bumblebee from any line, so leader class Optimus here is going to have to do as a comparison there. So not too shabby in terms of comparison of the height of Bumblebee. So there's leader class Optimus Prime, and then I'll bring in Human Alliance Bumblebee, and you can get an idea there of the size as well. So with that said, the last thing to show you is there is a gimmick. When you press down on his head here, what happens is you get spinning cannons, and if you watch closely, there's actually a LED red light. You can maybe make it out there, right there. It's not very bright, not very noticeable. And just to reset it, you can actually, there's a little lever here, you can push back on that. Those will be deployed back into the chest, or you can simply just do it manually like that. So, well, I guess either way you're doing it manually, but there are two ways to do it, to actually undeploy those weapons. So you got that. He's got a backpack, and there really isn't a lot you can do with it. I mean, you can kind of angle it down like that, so that in the front there it looks a little bit better in terms of the back kibble. But I think you're supposed to have it like this, so you can kind of see the wings as well, slash doors. So that is a look at robot mode. Of course, he has a gun here, which I'll go ahead and unpeg. There's a peg hole on either forearm. So let's go ahead and look at the transformation back into the vehicle mode. First thing you can do is you can fold up these into the chest, or rotate them up there. Rotate the head back, and then as for the shoulders and arms, you want to unpeg those from the side. They peg into the little slot there. And then for the hands, and these actually will go back like, let's see here, like that, and they just sit back in there into behind what is essentially the bumper, the rear bumper of the vehicle mode. And do the same thing over here, like that. You want to take the torso, unpeg it from the lower ab, like that, and just, you can see how that kind of goes like that. And come back here for the feet, and you want to take this like that, and then fold up the feet and then peg the legs together, and that's going to be the rear of the vehicle. So this section should go back in. Oh, let me go ahead and straighten this out here. Whoops, I want to do that. There we go. So you can see how the shoulders here are now laid down against what essentially are the legs, like that. And this whole section here comes together to form the rear bumper. There we go. Now, this whole assembly comes back, and what you got to do is there's some tabs and slots you got to line up here. And it does require just a lot, I should say a lot of adjustment sometimes to get everything lined up right. There, that looks good. And the door should come in. And the trick with the doors, there's actually a little tab and a little peg hole there. And I find that you need to get this part of the door underneath like that, and then that should go in like that. And that should hold in hopefully pretty well. There. And looks like the other door kind of did that on its own, but there you go. As you can see, it rolls pretty well. And then you can mount the weapon back here for that type of effect. And of course the same gimmick with the rotating Gatling guns come out. What you want to do is you want to come back here, kind of get your other fingers out of the way, and ba-boom, which is pretty cool. And I'll go ahead and reset that. There we go. So vehicle mode. Now vehicle mode is, in terms of size, it's definitely bigger than a Deluxe. Let me bring in Deluxe Revenge of the Fallen Swerve here as a comparison. You can see there. And next, let me bring in the Alternator Binaltech tracks. So these two are actually close in size, in scale as well. Well, actually not really scale, because you can see that this is kind of more of an exaggerated sports car, but this is more realistic in terms of proportions. But in terms of just comparing them, you can see how they stack up against each other right there. And it's roughly the size of a Alternator Binaltech or a Human Alliance Transformers figure. So my thoughts on this figure are, this figure is $30, and at $30, well, it's not exactly a leader class in terms of articulation, in terms of just complexity of transformation. So $30 is a tough price, because at $30, that's a really expensive toy for a kid. This really, if they were trying to sell this better, I think they would price it around $20. But I would say if you really want to pick up this figure, I'm predicting that this figure will actually be a shelf warmer and will soon be on clearance, or you can always find it at your local discount store. So one of those two options are probably going to be likely in the future. So there you go. And the thing is, it's not really priced for kids, and it's not really complex enough in terms of articulation and transformation for adult collectors. So it's really in a hard spot, because I don't think kids are likely to pick this up just because of the cost, and adult collectors are probably going to not really like it due to the fact that it's rather simplistic for this size of a figure, for a supposedly leader class size figure. So there you go, my thoughts on the Weaponizer Bumblebee figure. And like I said, $30. So, and my initial impressions of this in terms of the plastic quality, it felt cheap. I don't think it's cheap plastic, but it just felt that way. And I think it feels like a kid's toy in terms of the plastic, if that makes any sense. So I don't think it's fragile plastic. I think it just feels like a kid's toy, or plastic you'd find in a kid's toy rather than say a leader class figure. So, alright, there you go. That's been my review of Weaponizer Bumblebee. Thanks for watching.